All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Tuesday Night Leaders Call. My name's Chris Lingle, your host here for the week, and we have another great call tonight with the master, Bryan Robert. And these calls have been really fun. I'm really excited about these 10 steps and having them recorded for everyone here on this call that you can share with your team, new people coming in that want to understand these better. And these half-hour calls, I hope that, that we try and keep them very short and very quick, and so that you can, take just a quick half hour of your day and get some real positive energy and find ways to grow your business. So we've done some really great topics so far, and a lot of that has been on the fundamentals of the action steps of network marketing and Bryan's great 10 steps. And tonight we're going to talk about personal development. And I was just saying it's really fun because this is going to lead us, these next couple topics are going to lead us right into the new year. But I'm so passionate about personal development because if what we've talked about prior to this was, we're talking about business, but if a lot of people can relate to maybe getting healthy or if we're talking about losing weight. But what we've done so far is we've shown you the workout routine, okay? We've shown you the action. But you could work out 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 5 hours a day. But if you're going home and eating junk all the time, guess what? You're not going to really get the full effect, right? And that's what network marketing is. You can go and you can do all these things, but until you grow as a person, that really is the secret sauce. And personal development has completely changed my life. And I do believe, as I was trying to think back to when this idea caught me, it was Bryan Robert. And these 10 steps in getting into personal development, I grew up in Pittsburgh and I was a registered nurse, and my buddy introduced me to this business. And, I always thought it was all about Lamborghinis and fast, and making lots of money and mansions and traveling. But when I got to Utah, I moved out to Utah to be around Bryan Robert and learn this business. I took that chance and I wanted to do it. And one of the first things he talked about was personal development, reading these books. And one of the best things we had is we didn't have a TV. We decided not to have a TV. So I'm telling anybody as you listen to this call, if you don't think you have enough time, you do. The average American watches, 4 hours of television a night, which is crazy. When you add up the numbers of how many, I think it's 10 years on your life that you would get back if you didn't watch TV. But you can only find a half hour a day, and we're going to talk about that. But he talked about personal development, and he talked about reading these books. And, I've had people, and I even had that idea, this positive crap, and I've had people tell me, I don't need that positive junk. Well, I tell you what, you do. It's life-changing. It's not just about being positive. It's about strategies. It's about ideas that can literally transform your life. And, with Wealth Generators, this company's life-changing. This is a personal development company. You are financially developing, and we're going to talk about the training that Ross Jardine has as one of those key pieces, but also the all-encompassing with Wealth Generators, this financial machine that's going to take you from being unhappy with your finances to literally you can become bulletproof and be growing your money. And I tell you what, if you've been on this week, the Simplifier has been crushing it. It's been so much fun, and seeing where these guys are going, it's just awesome. So what I want to do real quick here is bring Bryan Robert in. Bryan, do I have you on the call here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you doing, Bryan?
Doing amazing.
Great. Well, I just did my intro. Go ahead and share with everybody. I was just telling them how you were one of the guys that, really keyed me in on personal development. And why don't you share your story, a little bit of why we're here, and we can jump into personal development.
Definitely. So for those of you who don't know me or haven't heard my story, I've been in this industry now for 24 years. It's crazy to say because I did not set out in life thinking I was going to be a professional network marketer because I never heard of network marketing. And I didn't grow up here in Utah. Wasn't something that everybody kind of knew about, and actually be surprised. Even here at the capital of the world, you would think that everybody knew or understood this industry, but they don't. A lot of them could swear they've never heard of it before, and even if you name off all of these companies that are household names, some of them not just here but everywhere, like, oh yeah, okay, I know that company, and had no idea who they are or what they did. So it always amazes me. It just really shows me that there's so much room for growth, even here. But I got involved, like a lot of people, 17 years old, got invited to a meeting. No idea why or what it was. Just a friend of mine asked me if I would go to a business meeting, and I was like, oh, okay, sure. So went over to the meeting. I was kind of blown away. I thought, man, if this is real, why isn't everybody doing it? And so I made a decision I was going to do network marketing. Did not have success at first. I mean, I had less than success, really, and spent 2 years kind of beating my head against the wall. Fortunately, at 19, I was introduced to someone who became my mentor. This person, Barry, really approached this business a lot differently than what I had seen. And, notice I said he approached this business because truly this is a business. And, I latched onto him, and he kind of said, "Hey, give me 5 years and I'll teach you this." And what was interesting is I learned more from Barry's actions than I ever did from his explanations. And even a lot of times, to make it simpler, when I'm telling a story of something that I learned from him, I'll say, Barry told me this or taught me this or something, just because it makes the telling of it easier. But a lot of times, it wasn't anything he ever told me. It was something that I observed from him. And, I'll get more to that, later as we, dive into personal development. But started working with him, started making six figures before I was 20, made my first million in my early 20s, built an organization doing millions of dollars a month in business. Fast forward, I've stayed in the industry, been fortunate to probably have over 1 million people in my organizations, over 25 countries, and done $1 billion in business. It's been a pretty cool and fun and amazing journey. I've seen the best and the worst of it in this industry, and I can tell you that, with any industry, there's good and bad, but the heart of what this industry is, I think, is great. And, to see the people that it's helped in so many ways has been what's been really surprising. And through my journey, we've come over here to WG. I was just on a conversation earlier today with a huge leader out of Australia who's 30 years in the industry, made millions of dollars, and is pulling the trigger with our business. And we had some real, very poignant conversations about the business and where we are and where we're going. And he kind of said something that I agreed with. And he said, this business has kind of got me excited again about this industry. And I said, that's where I'm at also. I really believe that we're part of something here that can help people change their life in a positive way, especially from a financial standpoint. I think that it's run by people that I've watched time and time again make the right decision, even though it would have been a lot easier to not make that right decision. I've seen them make right decisions that have cost them money, but because it was the right thing to do. And that's what gets me excited, because over time, that's what's going to help you be a long-term business. And we're already seeing people have success. We're seeing how the company is growing. It's changing. It's evolving. By the time that you're listening to this as a recording, it may be a month from now. It may be several years from now. And it'll be interesting to see, the company and where they are and what's transpired. But we have a advisory call, a leadership council call that we're getting ready to announce. That's, this Friday, for the company to go through several things that are happening. And so I won't say them here, but, let me just say that, obviously the trades, crushing it is one part of it, but there's so many things that the company's been working on for months, and in some cases, over a year now, that are, finally coming out. It's great to be part of that, the kind of pioneering phase as we're launching and going everywhere. So it's really exciting. And one last thing, and this will segue, I think, into the personal development, Chris. I thought that network marketing was just about making money. And so you'll see a lot of people that tease network marketing or make fun of it. There's a viral video out there right now by, one of these late night guys that, kind of pokes fun at network marketing and how, so few people make money with it and everything like that. Kind of like, hey, well, that really shows that this is somehow not a good industry. And I thought it was kind of funny video, and I was laughing at it or whatever. But really, I thought, as funny as this is, it's so far off. I think it's just so naive, a very surface understanding of network marketing. But I would go as far as to say the majority of people that have had great success in network marketing, over time, they would not say that their success was financial. And I think that they came into this business thinking that the financial success is it. And if you don't make all this crazy money and everything, well, then you've somehow, not succeeded. And the opposite, I think, is true. I've seen more people that have had now better relationships with friends, with spouses, with family members, that have more confidence, that are better people, that even though they haven't succeeded necessarily financially in network marketing, owning their own business and becoming an entrepreneur and learning better habits, learning personal development, and so many things that this business does has helped them be successful in many other things. When we talk about these Bayou boys, the guys that were my age that all made six figures or more, as a worldwide phenomenon, the majority of them are not even in network marketing anymore. So you might say, oh, well, hey, that just shows that it wasn't success or didn't last, but it's so opposite. Every one of them has now become phenomenally successful in something else in life. And that goes back because of the experience, because of the things that you learn over here. So you may come into this thinking that this is going to bring you this huge financial success, and it may do that, it may not do that. But if you practice the habits, if you work on yourself, if you do the things that you need to do to build this business, you're going to find that that's going to spill over into so many other aspects in your life, from confidence, public speaking, overcoming fears, expanding your mind, so many different things while you build this business. So there's a lot more ways to become successful in network marketing than somehow just this financial success.
Wow. And as you're saying that, Bryan, I'm really relating to that because the personal development's so huge, and it's just so great how you put that, because I've been there where this business will beat you up a little bit too sometimes. And I actually had a point where my mom was asking me, she's like, are you going to do it again? Are you going to still, we had a real tough business come, I was there with you, we saw the high and then the low and all of the in between, and it had to dig deep, and it was because of that personal development, but more than just the money. I talk about the relationships and how I've grown as a person, and I totally agree with that in so many ways, that this business can be so rewarding for you, and it's pretty cool. So, and I agree. I was even thinking about that too, as you're saying. I have a lot of people that don't do network marketing with me, but now are off on entrepreneurial ventures or doing great things or better relationships because of the personal development that they've learned. And a lot of people, they don't have an opportunity to step out of their comfort zone in their regular life, and this actually gets them to do that and grow. And let's jump in. I mean, Tony Robbins, he calls it KANI, constant and never-ending improvement. Japanese call it Kaizen. Some of these books will talk about the slight edge, constantly improving a little bit day by day, compound effect. A lot of these guys talk about. So, you have on here different books. What I was thinking about this call, and you tell me, I was thinking about how can we get people to show them what's the way to get started, and then some of our favorites as we go through. But what's a great way to get started? And I'll tell you what, one of my favorite things you did for me, Bryan, was you showed me how to go get this stuff for cheap or nearly free or very cheap to go out there and get personal development. I think with the internet now, there's YouTube, there's all this stuff. So talk about that a little bit, maybe some of your favorites as you're getting started in network marketing, and then we'll talk about some of the big ones that changed our lives.
Yeah. So when we start talking about personal development, it's like anything. It is a lifelong pursuit. It isn't like you read a book. Many people are like, I just got back from this seminar. I am personally developed. And it's like, no, you're still just as dumb as when you went into the seminar. So, reading the books and going to the seminars, those things are great. But personal development is exactly the same as building the business or learning anything. You don't learn something by observing it, and whether that's reading, whether that's listening, whether that's watching. Those things are not going to teach you personal development. And I think that's where people really fall short. Now, that is obviously where you need to start. But if I go and I watch the NBA Finals, or if I watch, Michael Jordan and his whole life and career and biography, and I read the book about it and I listen to the audios and everything, am I now somehow going to be any better of a basketball player than when I started. No. What those things do is they start to give you ideas and a roadmap and a path to start to practice those things. And over time, those things, if you do them, you will become more successful in all aspects of life. And that's essentially what personal development is. It's just like anything else. It's a pursuit of being better. It's about, in life, we're going to take steps forward and we're going to take steps back. A lot of people, they don't have any basis of what to do. You know, the way that they act and the way that they think has been the way that they were raised and brought up. So if they have friends or family that acted a certain way and had certain ideas and attitudes and judgments and habits and, you know, addictions or whatever it is, a lot of times that falls on to that person, and that's kind of how they live life. And, you know, personal development is kind of taking a step back and saying, you know, maybe the way that I'm thinking isn't necessarily the best way. And I can follow a roadmap and a path, which takes time and takes dedication to get to a different place. And so a lot of times the simplest things that we'll do is we'll start with books. And reading the book, again, is great. But how many people read the book? Or I've sat down so many people and they're doing a certain thing, and I'm like, well, didn't you just, you know, told me that you read this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, but you're doing this? Is like, well, you know, but yeah, this is different. And so it's not just about reading or listening, it's about applying. But you got to start somewhere. And so, you know, start off, one of the very first books that I read was How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I remember just reading the introduction to that book. And there's other great books out there too, but this is one that kind of had a special place where I remember just reading the introduction completely changed my thought process. And as you start going through the book, and I won't go through the whole thing, but it starts talking about the fact that most people don't realize that they're doing something wrong. They don't realize that their actions are hurting people or that they're rude or things like that. And so they don't realize it, and they're giving all these extreme examples. So why would you pointing it out to someone somehow change their mind? All they're going to say is, well, you know what, screw you. And so kind of the concept of the book is having empathy and understanding and being able to work with people, you know, with that at hand. So start finding books that appeal to you. I would even start looking at things that you're weak with. I mean, part of personal development, Chris, is being able to be honest with yourself. It's very easy to, you know, live in a glass house where we're very quick to point out other people's faults, other people's problems, other things that other people are doing wrong, but yet not being able to look at ourselves from an honest perspective and see that, okay, right, maybe we don't do that, but we're doing this, and this. And everyone is, you know, has things that they need to become better and work on. And so, you know, start off, Chris, looking at different books that appeal to you. You know, take a, you know, honest look at yourself and think, what are things that I need to, you know, become better and work on? You know, they're kind of the big ones that, you know, people look at or want to know or talk about. A lot of it is kind of changing your thinking. In some ways, even Rich Dad, Poor Dad could be considered almost a personal development book in the sense that it kind of shakes up your thinking and makes you realize that maybe I don't know everything, or the way that I've looked at things is incorrect. But I usually recommend people, you know, kind of going to the classics. You know, there are books that have been out for a really long time and that have stood the test of time and that people continue to, you know, get value from. Well, if it stood the test of time, you're getting value from it, chances are there's some good stuff in there. And most importantly, as you start to get into those, start to take notes. And remember, reading that book or going to that seminar is not going to teach you anything. It is not going to at all somehow make you any different or any better. It's about taking that information and consciously applying it to your life. So as I'm sitting here talking, you've been in my house, I have books everywhere. So I'm walking through my room, I walk into my closet, I look up, I've got books and different things. And, just my first when I look in, looking at books you can't still second with your foot on first. Parable of the Pipeline, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Being the best you can be in MLM. Here's an amazing book right here. Character is Destiny. And that book talks about that who you are, your character, how you treat people, how you think, the actions that you take, your mindset, how you think, literally is your destiny. It's going to predict how you get up to a different place. I was told by my mentor a long time ago, and he said, Bryan, where you are in life, good or bad, is a result of the sum total of every decision you've made up to this point. Or in other words, you are where you are in life because of yourself, because of the decisions that you've made, good or bad. So if you're at a place in life that you're not happy about financially, you're not happy about it physically, mentally, spiritually, or anything, it's your fault. You have done it. You have put yourself there based on your actions. And that's a really hard thing to hear when you're not at the place that you want to be, because it's very easy to blame it on other people. It's easy to say, well, you know what? It was teachers or family, or was screwed over by this person or this or whatever. But the reality is everyone has bad things that have happened to them in life. Everyone has setbacks. Everyone has been screwed over by someone. Everyone has those things, and yet many people are still in incredible situations. And the flip side of that, though, is if we want to be at a different place, all we have to do is make a different set of choices, and those choices are going to lead us to another place. And as soon as you can start to understand that, then it'll help you get there. Another thing is that your past doesn't define your future. And it's kind of the same things. We are where we are based on what we've done up to this point. But if we want to be at a different place, it doesn't matter what we've done in our past. Now, yes, there are repercussions from that, and that's led us to a certain point. But if we have the patience and the diligence, we can get to a different point. Another great thing about these books and getting into this is most things that have happened before or are going to happen to us, the trials that we're going to go through, the mistakes that we're going to be making have been made by other people. And we can easily use, that's what mentorship is, we can use their lessons to where we can have a quicker path to learn those things. And I'll throw it back to you for a minute, and then I'll jump into some other stuff.
Sounds great. My mind's racing here, and I just think about some of the first things. I love Rich Dad Poor Dad just because of the mindset, and I'm going to put a list of books up on the Facebook page, but one of the first ones I listened to that you can find on YouTube for free is Build Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn. I started to hear stuff by Jim Rohn and these ideas, and he talks about how, just like you're talking about, you're walking around your house and seeing books. He says, why do you think that all big houses have libraries? He's like, because all great leaders are readers, and he has all these great things, but he talks about getting your 30 minutes of personal development a day. Miss a meal. Don't eat. Miss a meal before you miss your personal development. And just thinking about little ways like you're talking about of just helping with your mindset and growing. And, whether it's in your car listening to something or just popping open a book in the morning or at lunch, on your lunch break, and adding those ideas and how it can help you grow. And as you're talking, Bryan, I'm thinking, a lot of people in this call want to become these big leaders in this company, and they want to make these huge incomes, but you have to become the person that can handle that. You have to become the person that these big leaders are talking about, talking to a big leader in Australia at the beginning of this call. It's like I'm developing myself so that I can have that confidence and feel like I can be that person to talk to somebody else of that caliber. And it's just kind of a cool concept. But, yeah, continue because you're
absolutely
on a great track.
So there was a quote that I heard. I repeated a lot of times, and I said things similar, but I really liked how this person put it. You're right. People want to have these huge people join their team and attract these leaders. a few things. One, you're going to like attracts like, so you're going to attract people usually on your caliber. So if you find that you're attracting people who are not stellar and who are not going out and crushing the business and everything, that's because you're not that person yet. But the quote essentially was, become the type of person that you want to bring into the business. So think of who you would love. I mean, if you had your list of who you want to bring into that business, you become that person. And now they're in your business, but at the same time, you're going to start to attract those people. And you see it. It's very obvious, when you're in this business and you're looking at people and who their circle is and who they're bringing in, the caliber and everything like that. It's very obvious where they are in life based on who they are and what they're recruiting. Getting into some specific things with personal development and network marketing, just to give you an idea of how these things affect your business. Your mind is powerful. Your mind is going to create in your thinking, thoughts are things, secret law of attraction, all these things, our decisions, our mind, our thinking is going to lead us to a certain place. And if your mind is corrupt and it's thinking wrong, that's what it's going to attract in the business. Specifically, some of the things that I teach that I learned from my mentor is about confrontation and about drama. People feel that becoming a top network marketer, somehow has anything to do with sponsoring and signing people up and getting people to join your business and being able to be a great presenter and everything. And yeah, those are all things that a top networker can do, but that isn't, that's why, people that build specifically on the internet, they have, these sales funnels that can sign up thousands of people a month. And that's why none of those people have ever become a top earner in the business, no matter how many people they can build and do it. Maybe they've made a lot of money 1 month or a couple months or even a year, but that's not what it's about. The business, the top people that are in network marketing are problem solvers. They're people that can work through confrontation. They're people that when they're faced with a problem, they don't break down and melt down and not know what to do and get negative and quit and walk away and, rail against the company and their upline and blame other people. And, it's self-destructive behavior. The top networkers, we're all faced with all those things. We're all, in situations where the companies have problems and they make mistakes or, things happen. They welcome to life and to the business. They're ones that are able to problem solve. They're able to work through differences, that are able to manage difficult people, difficult leaders. They're able to reach down and help people become the best people that they can, to get more out of their organization, to be the peacekeeper. One of the things that I see a lot is dealing in drama, and something that I really learned from my mentor was he never got involved with drama. Not to say that he never helped solve some problems, but I never saw him involved in drama. I never heard him talking trash about other people. I never saw him involved in any of that. It seems like, chaos could be going around him with this problem and this, and he always had a smile on his face, and he was always had his head down, he was working, he was positive. And even though we never had these real conversations about that, I learned so much from that, and it's been something that's, I've tried to apply to my business. You'll find that there are people in life that always attract drama and chaos. And if you told them that, they would think you're the craziest person out there and there's no way I attract drama or feed into it, but yet it's always around them. And I remember whenever when my wife started building the business years ago, when we were in a different company, and, of course I'd already been in the industry for, 14 or 15 years. And so there was something happening, and she comes in and she says, "Oh my gosh, Bryan, so this person was doing this, and now she's not going to the meeting, and they've broken off and they're doing their own thing, and 3 people have already quit because this person, and all this stuff." And I'm listening, and she's like, "What are we going to do?" And I looked at her and I said, "We're not going to do anything. If they quit, let them quit. Welcome to network marketing." And I swear, her eyes almost fell out of her head. That's not what she thought. And I did it a little bit more to show a point. And the point was that, people are messy. And sometimes you don't need to feed into the chaos, into the drama. You need to lead. You need to just set the example. And in that, a lot of times will work itself out. I'm not saying that there's never times, to get involved, but the reality is that isn't what you should be doing. When we talk about being a leader, we talk about those that set the best examples. This is where personal development, meets the road over here in network marketing. It's working through the conflicts that's going to arise in your business. It's setting the pace. It's having that positive attitude when really there's a lot of times when you shouldn't be positive with things that are going on, but feeding into that negativity is not going to lead you there. And then there's so many other things that personal development and, that's going to help in your business. Being able to overcome personal jealousies. One of the things that Barry told me, I remember very clearly, we were at a meeting and we were standing there and I was getting ready to go up and talk. And there's a huge crowd of people and we're standing in the back and I was getting ready to run on stage. And of course, when you go in there, everybody's cheering, and I was yelling and gets me all pumped up and excited, of course. And he looks at me and he says, Bryan, you'll never be truly successful in this industry until you're the guy in the back of the room. And then they call my name, and as I'm running out there, I'm thinking, well, Barry, you're always in the, you're always in the front of the room. So what does that mean? And for a long time, I thought I understood what it meant, but it was a long time, many, 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 many years later, before I really started to understand what he meant. And he didn't mean that you're never not going to be in the front of the room, but what he meant is that, well, he meant a lot of things, but one of the things that's easier to explain is that a lot of people can't take other people's success. In fact, that's one of the hardest things about running a group and about finding success in this business is that you're going to find other people that are successful. You're going to find other people that are going to make more money than you, hit more ranks than you, get more attention than you. And a lot of times you're going to feel like they don't deserve it, or you do more work than they do. And what you'll find is that people sabotage their own company. They see people cross line that are doing that, and they're very quick to point out things that they're doing wrong and to, talk bad about them and put them down any way that they can. Well, they don't realize that that person's success is only going to help you make more money. It doesn't matter if they're in your line or not. That's how this business works. And even to the fact of, I call it the fishbowl syndrome, where, and I know we're running out of time, but where there are great leaders in this industry that could be some of the biggest leaders in history, but the problem is they want to be the fishbowl. A fish is only going to grow as big as it is in that fishbowl, and so they won't edify the company. They won't let them do their own thing. They won't let them be the star. They always have to make it about them and be about them, and I watch them sabotage their own business, their own downline, hurt people because those people will disagree with them, that they're in their team and everything. And those are the types of things that personal development is going to help with. It's going to make you become a better leader and a better builder, and it's a lifelong pursuit. So if you start now, it's going to help you in so many different ways. And don't just read the books and don't just listen to the seminars, but actually take the things that you're learning and apply them to your life on a consistent basis.
That's awesome. This call went too fast. I can see us doing another one down the road here. Yeah, it's already that time. So thank you so much, Bryan. I think one of the great places to start too is in Wealth Generators. If you have not gone through the Wealth Development and Ross Jardine's section, you're selling yourself short. There's stuff right there that's going to teach you how to personally develop. The company Wealth Generators is all, all the education, all that. That's all developing. And I love Bryan. I mean, you hit on so many good points there that, I'll just if you need to go back and re-listen to this, I'll post some book recommendations up on the team page. And I will not be doing a webinar on Thursday because I'm actually going out to my own personal development, going out to Eric Worre's big event in Vegas. And that's one of the big things too, jumping on these calls, going to events. That's personal development. You guys made the choice to be on this call, and I commend you, and I hope that we got you real excited about continuing that personal development path. I'm excited to share next week with what we're doing, what happened at Eric Worre. I'm going to make some videos and things. And next week, we have a really great call. We're going to be doing this again. It's coming into December already. But the next week we are going to talk about learning the plan, learning the business, how to go down that road of becoming an expert yourself to where you can show the plan and stuff. And this is one of Bryan's top tips, and it's going to be a great call. So everyone, I'm so thankful for you being on this call. We look forward to seeing you next week. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap this up, Bryan?
No, that's it. Excited about the future, and look forward to next week.